minutes.
No, 0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you guys. I don't ever want to hear your voice to you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
Cynthia's privacy is not to be invaded again. You're not to contact her or her family in any form, indirectly or directly, ever again. She's not to be broke anymore. What part of that did you not understand, Mr. Perry? When you contact me, we get more information about your criminal activity that you hid all your life. We found out you have Huntington's disease that causes paranoia, delusion, psychosis, hallucinations. You see things that aren't there. And impaired cognitive reasoning, and our shrink kept saying he's got something like Alzheimer's or senile dementia. He's not going to pass cognitive reasoning tests that I give my 6-year-old students or patients. Not students, patients. He won't pass it. He can't. He can't put 2 and 2 together. He's just not all there. So we're wondering what the fuck is wrong with this guy. Every time he messes with me, he gets caught more. So does he just like getting caught? Is that the goal? What's the stated goal? Why does he continue to bother somebody that doesn't want him to contact? Why is he doing that? Who the fuck does that? And, this is a grown-ass man who's a senator out of Texas. Very small time, but he wants to be a dignitary, wants to run for governor. And yet he can't put together in his head cause and effect, same and different before and after. We get the information before, not after. We found out you have Huntington's disease. You didn't want anybody to know that. We know that. We got your code words. You guys use daycare code words. And all kinds of intel from right inside your criminal organization that nobody else has. Or, they've not done anything with it if they do. So, that happens when you bother me. Just me. No one else. Why is that? And we're like, what the hell who is that stupid? I mean, this is so easy. It's not even fair. And this guy, goes around telling everybody, oh, that's my girlfriend. No, I mean, people are telling him. If I speak in the third person, I'm quoting someone else. By the way, I have to say that. Most people just know. For Mr. Perry, you got to actually say it because he's not all there. Can't figure it out by himself. Wants to run for governor. You can't run down the street, Mr. Perry, by yourself without falling all over yourself. It's so embarrassing. So, our shrink is like he's severely mentally ill and severely mentally retarded. Nobody's this dumb that they keep, messing with the same person that gets them caught every day. And he's asking me, who's the leaks? Well, why would I tell you that? First of all, I'm not told that. But let's just say I was. Why would I tell you? We all want you gone. You're not getting it. Everybody's just sick of you. And your delusion, and your soap opera, and you watch TV, watch me in the privacy of my home. And that is so gross, and so nasty, and so disgusting. It's rape. And you don't have my consent. You do not get to use my body, against my will, for your imaginary life. So these guys I mentioned last night were talking about Mr. Perry. For 6 years, the guy said, Mr. Perry has been seen with Cynthia's friends and family, but never with her. And he forged a marriage license and went around telling everybody that was his girlfriend or his concubine or his fiance or his wife. And and the guy's like, oh my God, wow, what a whack job. If that's all you have to do to be married these days, I'm gonna sign Jennifer Aniston's name to a piece of paper. If they don't even have to like you. And the guy's like, yeah, and he walked around with an entourage, told everybody she's a threat. That too. It's like 20 different stories this guy told up in Oklahoma. They can't get it. He leaves the safety of his home in Lubbock, thousands of miles away, and goes to Oklahoma, and they can't get the bitch to leave. And he's got an entourage. So he's going around acting like he's some important guy with his entourage. And walks into police departments and starts ordering everybody around and pisses them all off. And, we've heard more than one. If that bitch comes up here again and starts ordering people around like we all work for him, I don't know what I'm going to do. We're all sick of that. And he makes your skin crawl, makes the hair on the... And I got stuff to do. I'm busy. Why isn't he? Mr. Perry, we have heard that complaint over and over and over. We're all busy. Why aren't you? So actually, the judge that signs off on investigatory orders, like a wiretap or something, told the guys, I want you to get all of their schedules because they don't have an alibi. So let's get that. Because I want to take a look at it. What are their schedules? They're all of them. Are they doing anything but what she says? I want to know what this Lucius guy does with his time all day. I want to know what this guy Calvin does with his time all day. Certainly Mr. Perry, Mr. Robert. I want to know every single one of them. What is going on with their day? How are they spending their time? I want to see that next time you guys come in here. So they're gathering all that. And so for Mr. Perry, he's a fat, lazy pervert who watches television all day long, me, in the privacy of my home, and God only knows who else. I'm only told what pertains to me. I'm not told. Whoever else you're watching, I don't know. But for sure me. And pretends that's his love life. And then starts typing in my phone his opinions. And he wants me to leave Oklahoma. And he's going to force me to leave Oklahoma. I'm going to starve you out. We're going to take your car. We're going to throw your ass back in jail. We'll find a way. We'll buy it. We'll buy an arrest. Which police department are you going to buy arrest? Is it Mays County? Is it Rogers County? Is it Tulsa Police? Who'd you buy it from? Mr. Perry? I mean, thanks for the heads up. This isn't an afterthought to explain something away. We're telling everybody before. We get the intel before. If we don't get the intel, you tell on yourself. So we heard, I guess for the last 2-3 weeks, they've wanted me to go back to the club where I was working at Sensations in Inola. Wait till I'm on stage, grab me off the stage, handcuff me, and throw me in, so that all the girls there that are their trafficking victims would be scared out of their minds. Use me to intimidate them, victims of sex trafficking. Right? Isn't that what your plan was? And I guess somebody yelled at my ex-husband, you're causing problems for us. We had a plan. She was supposed to be broke so that she'd have to go back out there and we could do that. We're saying it before. It's not an afterthought. So whatever we don't get from intel, because Mr. Perry pisses off his leaks hurting me, then he'll just tell on himself. He's like typing in my phone, go to work, pushing and pushing and pushing. But every time he gets pushy on something, we start questioning it, because he pushed Mike Neely to go to Pensacola. Go to Pensacola, Mike, it'll be fun. And Mike's in jail for a murder he couldn't have done. There's no way. There's no fucking way that man did that murder. Chief Miller was beat so hard that a medical examiner said, back and forth. It was like he was in a car crash. His head came off his body. The skull came. Mike has not a mark on him. Not a fucking mark on him. And you can't beat somebody that badly and have nothing. And he's pointing that out to Escambia. Look at my hands. There's nothing on my hands. I don't believe you. And the guy goes, brilliant detective that he is. Well, it appears he was beat to death. And I'm thinking, Sherlock, stupid. You got a man in front of you that just said, I could not have done that. I don't look at my hands. I could not have done that. I get that he was beat to death. We all get that. You said it. We got it the first time you said it. Here's the thing, though. I don't look like I was in that fight. He was not treated for being knocked out in a fight. He was treated with Narcan for being drugged with opioids until he was going to die. He's unconscious. He's in respiratory distress. He's a cop. He just took my report 6 days before for vandalism. Maybe they did it, maybe not. I just don't know anybody this weird that would do this except them. I just don't know anybody like this weirdo. Mr. Perry, you just weirdo. I mean, you are as weirdo as it gets. And you've bothered everybody in Oklahoma with that. I came here to get away from you and to be with my family. That's why I'm here. You have broken into my home, ripped up everything I have, raped me for years, ruined everything I have, taken everything I have, everything I worked hard for, everything I built up, all my, relationships, all my finances, blew it up. to bits. And then you're demanding I leave my own home. And you don't get to do that. You are a pathetic wuss-nothing pussy. And a coward. And everybody hates you. And we get intel because everybody wants you gone. So why would I give you a leak, sir? You got a lot of nerve that you would even ask me. He's asked me today a couple times, please help me. Please help me. Please tell me who it is. Please help me. I'm like, oh my God, wow. You got a lot of nerve. We all want for you to be gone. We all want for you to be gone. Everybody's sick of you. We all want for you to be gone. Everybody's sick of you. I moved twice. This was the second move to get away from you. You came here and you caused problems, and that's your deal. You're a grown-ass man. Act like it. You created the situation you're in. No one else did that. You did it. Now fuck the hell off. Don't you dare ask me for help. My guys already said, after I said, I'm not going to help you. Never will I help you. We all want you gone. Everybody's sick of you. And you need to understand that, and you don't. And we're tired of repeating ourselves. People are busy, Mr. Perry. They don't have time to deal with your sex weirdo problem. You need to get some help. Professional help. Because you're sick, and you're twisted, and you're a monster. And everybody's tired of it. You were never invited here. I never would have taken you around my family. No, I didn't introduce you to my family. I never would have taken you around my family. In fact, I've told you to stay the fuck away from them. All of them. You don't call my ex-husband. You're causing problems for us because you finally went up and helped her. And now we couldn't get her on that stage in handcuffs so we could intimidate all the other victims. And that's what you want to do. It's a violation of the RICO Act, Mr. Perry. Coercion is a crime, Mr. Perry. You're getting told on because everybody's sick of it. It's a burden we don't want to deal with. I came here so I wouldn't have to. Nobody invited you here. You came up here. You broke into my home. You ruined everything. You tore everything up. You raped me. Get out of it. You don't want to get caught anymore. Get the fuck out of my house. And don't fucking ask me for help. The guys said, if he will give everything back that he took from you and get the hell out of your life, we'll call him. You don't need to be calling him. Why would I do that? I'm like, I'm not going to call that bitch. Why would I do that? There's nothing that you could say to me on the phone that you haven't said to me typing in my phone. And you can't lie to me. I've heard the recordings. You always forget who it is you're talking to, Mr. Perry. And to me, you sound like this weirdo.
Alone. Stop following me. Stop. I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalk me. That's why I moved. Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
leave me alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice, you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't. Stop stalking me. Please.
Doesn't even make sense. Like this guy.
I don't. Stop. This make you.
Alright, she's trying to make a point to this guy. Do you like having a camera stuck in your face, asshole? And listen to his response. He doesn't even make sense. He just totally doesn't get what she's saying.
Feel. You're filming my father and my fucking sister. How does this make you feel?
The one that put all those scratches on your arm? You want to see the
Scratches? I got scratches.
I can show you the pictures right now.
No, I want you to leave my family fucking alone.
Keep hanging outside of there.
I'm a stalker, so I got pictures of you. You want to see them? Oh my God, that's what she's trying to tell him she doesn't like. She's trying to explain to him, I don't like that you do this camera thing where you just take pictures of me everywhere I go, and now my family. She moved. No woman should have to leave her home to get away from a bitch like that. I've moved twice. Oh, now we hear that, okay, first you guys called Fabian. And you guys tell him, we'll give you 15 grand if you can coax her back to Texas where we can do more her. We'll kill her. You probably didn't tell him that straight up. We just need you to get her back to Texas. Right? He knows you're going to kill me. You think he doesn't know? He's not stupid. The other thing is, he knows that I know that you want to use him to hurt me. He's the one person on the planet that has not allowed himself to be used to hurt me. My own family can't even say that. But he can say that. So now, for maybe a week, until I walked in his office and I said, I got a stalker. And here's the situation. And he was pissed. The look on his face was, I'm pissed. And then it was kind of a little, first it was like a little bit of relief. Like, oh, okay. And then he looked mad. Mr. Perry, nobody cares how you feel. You're the offender. Everybody cares about how the victims feel about what you've done to our lives that was illegal, immoral, sick, and twisted, inappropriate, and offensive. No one cares about how you feel because you got caught. Call your mommy. No one else wants to hear it. Shut the hell up, you sicko. You're really deranged. Really deranged and depraved. I mean, we don't even have words, Mr. Perry, for how sick and tired of hearing you talk everybody is. What happened today? Was I supposed to get pulled over again? And how'd she find out? When Mr. Perry invades my privacy, when he causes me a loss of any kind at all, when he contacts me, then we find out more because it pisses everybody off. People with a lot of power, they don't think that's cute. And then he asks, please help me, who is it? You know who it is. You just don't want to tell your partners. Your leaks, maybe not. I don't know your leaks, but you know who's helping me. You just don't want to tell your partners, right? So these guys don't get it, and our shrink is like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him, but he's got something. An aging degenerative disease. We said that for a long time. And then, and she talked about your emails. We haven't written emails like this since first grade. His emails, there's like these long emails to him, and his responses back are like three to five words, two or three sentences. I don't think he understood what the person was saying. I think he just did the best he could to respond. And at this point, we don't know what the hell. Well, then because he's fucking with me, we get more. We find out more. He's got Huntington's disease. So we have that information that you did not want anybody having because you pissed off leaks, sir. You're disgusting. I told you don't contact me because I fucking hate it. I don't like to hear from you. No one does. Everybody wants for you to be gone. Listen to the words I'm saying. Everybody's sick and tired of hearing how you feel. You're mad you got caught. Boo fucking who. We'll get you a tissue. You know what everybody else cares about? How I feel that you blew my life up. How Mike Neely feels and the Miller kids feel that you blew their lives up. That's what everybody wants to hear, not what you have to say. You caused massive, catastrophic, profound loss to people who did nothing to you at all. Calvin, Lucius, you as well. I have your names. I know Calvin's bald and fat. Everybody fucking hates that bitch. I'm told he's the one doing this. He's the one doing the crap to her car all the time. Him and David. David and Charles call in constantly. There are hundreds of recordings of you two. Please take her car away. Please pull her over. Please take her car away. Please pull her over. Please. Constantly. Nag. So, we got it. Perry knows who has it. I guess you guys call it around. How do you make those kind of phone calls, Mr. Perry? I'm a sex pervert. I can't control myself. And, I did what she says. And I did, can I just be candid with you? I'm doing what she says. I got a problem. And I can't control myself. And I just need those recordings. I'll make it worth your while. How the fuck do you make that kind of phone call? Governor Stint, I'm a sex weirdo, and can I just be candid with you? I can't control myself. If you'll just make sure every other law enforcement in Oklahoma ignores my crime, I'll make it worth your while. Is that what you did? How do you make that call to a governor or a judge? How embarrassing. Oh my God, that's so fucking embarrassing. I wouldn't walk in a room with you for millions. I'd rather die, literally. So we know you talk to Fabian, you tell him 15 grand. He's like, no. 20 grand, no. 25, no. He won't coax me to Texas. He knows that could get me killed. He knows that. He's not stupid. And he knows that I know that you would be trying to use him to do that. And he knows I probably would be like, hey, get the hell out of here. Okay, so then you tell him, go up there and tell her, just go up there and reject her. That he'll do, right? Well, he could see me. Then he gets to see me, right? If he does that. And I'm not going to end up dead. Is that what, I mean, what, Fabian can talk to me if and when he wants to, on his own terms, in his own time, without your influence, without your pressure, without your shit. Fabian and I don't know what Fabian and I are. Okay, when you guys are all gone and in jail, if we decide we're going to figure that out later, we will. You butt into something that was none of your business, didn't ya? Fabian, is just, he's the one person on the planet that has just not allowed himself to be used by you. And if he came up here, he'd get to see me. To read off your script, do you think he doesn't think I would know? You really think he would think I would know? I mean, surely you know he's not stupid. He would know that I would know. You told him to do that. Here's your script, Fabian. Practice it and read it off. Right? Do you really think that he would not know that I would know? Do you really think that? We've already been over it. He knew when you wanted him to coax me to Texas. He already knew that I knew that you were trying to use him to do that. He doesn't want me to die. He doesn't want to be responsible for getting me killed. So he told you no. All that money you offered him and he still said no. He comes up to Tulsa. He gets to see me. He already knows I know. You told him to do that. Right? When y'all are all in jail, Fabian can say and do and whatever if he wants to. That's between me and him. It has nothing to do with you. It's none of your business, is it? Yeah. So you guys butt into stuff that just doesn't concern you at all. Where I work, when I work, Mr. Perry, not your concern at all. See, you go into a courtroom continuously and under oath lie. And you've told the judge there's a political vendetta. Where? The abortion thing that I discussed last night when I'm telling my friend Aurora in 2013. Aurora, this bill isn't going to pass. The Supreme Court equal protection test. The verbiage, the language is wrong. They've extended session and they're spending millions of dollars to pass a bill that has no hope. It's worded wrong. So it's not going to pass equal protection test and it's a waste of time and money. And I was right. It did not. And that wasn't Charles Perry. That was Rick Perry. So, Charles Perry was never my representative. I lived in John Frullo's district. I had already left town before Charles ran for senator. I helped Charles get elected so the cops could get to him. This is a crime thing for me, and that's it, and that's all. And you knew that. So here we are, 9 years later. Mr. Perry has identified no issue. Has not one tweet. Because I'm upset with Rick Perry about that. I didn't really say that. I just said this isn't going to work. But we'd already talked on the phone, or I think we'd talked on the phone several times about Rick Perry's abortion bill that wasn't going to work. And why it wasn't going to work. Okay, so John Frullo's my representative, not you. I've already been in politics all my life. My granddad was an elected official. I did government reform for Medicare. My patients that were using Medicare for their lymphedema or vascular disease for years. I did federal. State, I fucking hate state because these guys in the state legislature have just enough power to irritate the fuck out of everybody else. And the guys in the federal government, I'm sorry, but they have a lot more power, a lot more influence. And you know what else, Mr. Perry? They're busy. They have schedules and activities. Ask Ted Cruz. I'm talking to Ted Cruz at lunch one day, and Mr. Cruz tells me their schedule, and I'm like, you don't even have time to go to the bathroom. He was out giving speeches. He's out raising money. His campaign guy goes, the second we get in the car, he's going to get on the phone and raise money. He doesn't miss a beat. And then he's working on whatever legislative crap he's got to do. These guys have to run for office every 6 years or whatever. Okay, so they're constantly doing their legislative duties, which doesn't include stalking women or watching them in their privacy of their home, or selling them to a Houston realtor, or pulling up behind their house and watching them in their backyard, or trying to have them as a slave or a concubine, or like we're all in Iraq or something, and or they don't. He doesn't have time, to do what you're doing, the sick, twisted stuff you do. Kill cops and crap. Oklahoma cops. See, you're in Texas and you come to Oklahoma and you kill one of our cops. And you tried to kill the other one and now he's sitting in jail. So I don't think that's cute, Mr. Perry. None of us do. Everybody wants you gone. Maybe TPD's okay with that. Cops all over the country, guess what? They're not. They don't understand TPD. What the hell's going on with TPD? We hear it all the time. What the hell's wrong with TPD? How much did they get bought for? Yep, that's they can deal with that. It's not my problem, is it? So, this stuff you guys have done, I mean, we've gotten so much information. It's like I don't know. So did Judy Parker call Chief Franklin and go, how again did she find out she was supposed to get pulled over? Did she call and yell at him? I'm gonna hold you in contempt of court. How come your officers are leaking, and who are they leaking to? Did she do that again? We heard she did that. We still haven't confirmed that. If she did that, I'm like, wow, you are way out of line. You've really overstepped. Okay, first of all, you don't know everything going on. You better make sure you find out before you end up with egg on your face down the road. Because the judge that signs off on investigatory orders into what's going on in Oklahoma where you're not, talk about judicial overreach. Chief Franklin has a legal and moral and ethical obligation to protect citizens in Tulsa, where I live. You don't live here, and I don't live in Lubbock. And you've let these men go into your courtroom and lie to you and not ask for evidence. And you don't care. And there's little girls sucking, I'm sorry for the vulgarity, sucking dicks of men they don't know or like. And being told they don't have a choice. You okay with that? There's 3 little kids with no dad who was trying to help me and those girls. You okay with that? Their dad's gone. We have, there's no police report. I mean, the police report that I filed that I did get arrested for, Judge Hanson fucked up. Where's the political vendetta, Mr. Perry? Prove it. 9 years later, you still can't, can you? And there was no evidence collected or investigation done to determine whether or not there was a false police report. You filed the false police report, Mr. Perry. And whatever you've told Judge Parker didn't set well with Judge Kirkendall. Why is it not in Judge Kirkendall's court anymore? So here's the thing, Judge Parker. Chief Franklin has a legal, a moral, a duty to uphold the law and the Constitution over Tulsans, where I live, and have for 9 years. So if I'm being harmed, another police department has to protect me because his department is not. So don't yell at him. He's doing what you want. And you don't have jurisdiction over the chief in a town, in another state, in another town, who really should be protecting me from some bitch in Lubbock who's a sicko, diagnosed nutbag. So you don't get to call and tell Chief who leaked. Oh my God! Wow. Who leaked? Because we were about to do something illegal in my courtroom. So I'm gonna hold you in contempt because you didn't go along with it. Oh wow. Okay. So wow. Who's all is gonna get arrested when the shit hits the fan and they're finally ready to pull the plug? Mr. Perry, the police department that found out you have Huntington's disease, are they gonna arrest her too? It depends. How much a part of your crime is she? Yeah, she doesn't get to dictate the duties of a police chief in a whole nother state, in a whole nother town, who has a victim of crime right in his jurisdiction, and she doesn't know what the hell's going on. Not even trying to find out, is she? She better find out. I've said it. Every DA, every cop, every judge involved in this better make sure they have all the facts and they're not factually ignorant. Because what happens often is somebody's going to get it done right somewhere down the road. Our guys already are. They've told me you have Huntington's disease. Okay, so they've told me how hundreds of times you want you pulled over. They will flat take my taillights out. If I'm not speeding or doing something like that, these guys are so desperate to have me pulled over, they fucking, more than once, have flat taken my taillight out. And one time, my guys that told me you have Huntington's disease and all this, and Judy may have called Chief Franklin, we don't like your department leaking to the cops that are actually getting the criminals, protecting the victims. I thought I knew Judy. I don't know her at all. I never thought I'd see the day she'd do something like that. They have a duty to uphold the law, Judy. And that means protect me. You don't know what's going on in Oklahoma. You don't live here. You're not even close. But I'll tell you what, when Mr. Perry and Mr. Powell go in there and tell you something, you better make them prove it. Because if you don't, our guys are going to make you look bad later. We have a judge already irritated with you. I can't believe she did that. This is our witness statement. I'm going to take her car. Over and over and over. Please take her car. David Robertson and Charles Perry continuously calling TPD. Please take her car away. Please pull her over. Please take her car away. Please pull her over. Constantly. Hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. And a lot of times they tell them we can't do that. I'm sorry, but we can't do that. Right? I'm going to false arrest her, Judy. This was in October. They did the false arrest in January. This was before. It's not an afterthought to explain something away. We said it before. We always do. We got to coax her back to Texas where we can do more to her. Yeehaw. Get on the old fart. We got to get her kicked out of her home. But there's a COVID moratorium right now. I already went over that case, which if Mr. Perry didn't have something to do with it, it would have. Why was all of a sudden everything dismissed? And no, both parties are asking the judge for a hearing on sealing my address. She scheduled the hearing. Do the motions. We'll schedule the hearing. You're both in agreement on that. Let's see what we can do. All of a sudden it's just dismissed. Just like Joe's default judgment. I want you to, Mr. Goodwin, do a motion. Cynthia, do you want to use what you already have, or you want to respond to his motion? I haven't seen his motion yet. Let's nix what I have given you today, because I don't know what I'm doing. I filed something improperly. I want to respond to what he's gonna file. Not psychic. I don't know what he's gonna say. I need to see what he says and then respond. Okay, great. Then I'll have a hearing. Boom. All dismissed. I filed 2 motions to intervene for Officer Neely when I could see you weren't going to let me testify. Which, if you didn't do the murder, what do you care? If you didn't get me kicked out of my home, what do you care? If you weren't involved in the pullover and the traffic ticket, of which we have court in May, what do you care? Yeah, see, you guys are really good on acts showing consciousness of guilt. Really good at it. So, a duty to uphold the law, officer. So, you're not traffic, you're patrol, yes. And go ahead and explain to me a second time what's the difference. Because you got your body cam on right now, and we have already heard about this. We've already talked about this. We've already planned what we're going to do with it. So, for the court, because we're going to go in court, I need you to go ahead and tell me again your understanding of your job. Somebody's harassing me, and you can take that because you're patrol, not traffic? Yes, ma'am, I can. Go ahead and explain that, officer, twice. It's not relevant. I just want to know. Go ahead. I'm going to hit play. Go. And he did. And so we'll see how that works out in court. I'm very good at what I do. There's a reason we got stuff nobody else has. When Perry contacts me, invades my privacy, and takes something, we get more. So there's that. Coercion is a crime, Mr. Perry. Now, I'm going to speak to the young ladies who are traffic victims. These women, a lot of these little girls, young girls, a lot of them have grown up in the home of a meth head. They don't fucking know what a mom looks like, a good one. This is not Leave It to Beaver. These are kids who raise themselves. These are kids that don't know what it's like to have a dream. I'm going to get married, and I'm going to marry a nice man who loves me and treats me with dignity and respect and make sure I have a good life. And I'm going to have kids, and I'm going to go to their soccer games and their ballet rehearsals, practices and recitals and the piano, and I'm going to go to parent-teacher conferences, and I'm going to help them learn how to read. And we're going to go to reading circle at the library, and we're going to do arts and crafts with their little friends when they're 5. It's so cute to watch them. The 5-year-olds playing football is hysterical. It's like bobbleheads. Runner. It's the funniest thing. And these little kids, my boys played soccer. They played everything, but when they're playing soccer, my youngest one especially, these little kids are 3, 4, 5 years old. They're running around the soccer field, and a plane flies over, and everybody stops the game, and they all run up and point, and they're all running in this. They're all in a group, and they're pointing up at the plane, and they're all, "Mom, a plane!" And they're all talking. It's the cutest thing. The whole game stops, or the plane flew over, or a bug crawled. They're all looking at a bug, just right in the middle of the game. They just stop playing. It's the cutest fucking thing ever. So these girls are thinking they'll never have that. They're never gonna have that kind of life. No college, no career, no. I work hard and make my way up the ladder and buy myself a BMW. None of that. Nanny. I had a nanny. You had a nanny? What do you mean you had a nanny? Foreign to them. Never heard of such a thing. I mean, they've heard of it. They can't imagine that for themselves. What if you marry a doctor? Tiffany? What if you are able to marry a doctor? What if you get out of this life and you're free, and you go to college and you meet a guy he's a doctor, a surgeon, or a lawyer, or a banker, or some or oil type guy, and he's wealthy, and he gives you a big house, and you get to go to college, and then you have your own career too, and you have a nanny, because you can have that. And the thing is a lot of it is your mindset. And so when we give some hints of, when you wake up in the morning, if you want to get out of this, the first thing you need to do is think of everything you're thankful, because their battle is in your mind. I'm here to tell you, this battle is in your mind. And when these guys go around degrading their victims and trying to gaslight them, and they know that the battle is in their mind. They know good and well the battle is in your head. So they're trying to tear down your confidence, tear down your dreams, and make you hopeless. And they're gaslighting. The thing is I'm not 20, I'm 53. And I grew up in a home with a dad that he gaslighted. And I remember when I was, during a time when my dad was telling me, you will amount to nothing, and you don't deserve anything good, and just let me have it one day. I remember looking him in the eye, not saying a word, and thinking, fuck you, watch me. And I promise you I've outcopped him by far. I've made my granddad more proud than he ever did. That doesn't mean he didn't have the talent and the skill. He absolutely did. But he fucked it up with alcoholism and being a jerk, being an asshole. Like that. And the way that he treated me and my granddad did not like that. My granddad and my grandmother sat him down in Kathy many times and said, quit treating her like crap. Quit doing that. Why are you doing that? My sister could do no wrong, and nothing I did was right. And they did the same thing to my son and Dennis. Tristan could do no wrong. Dennis, nothing he did was good enough. And why people do that, I don't know. I never treated my kids like that. I don't understand why they did. But nobody liked it. Nobody likes that. So what makes a person act like that? I don't know. I don't care. I'm not a shrink. What I can tell you is that my response to that was, fuck you, watch me. Always. So when you're a victim of this kind of crime, you have to think the same way. First of all, concentrate on what's good in your life and what you have to be thankful for. You're not in the hospital fighting cancer. You're not in jail. You're fine. You're good. You're alive. You can breathe. You can walk. You can see. I've been driving down the street and watched people with fucking no legs in a wheelchair roll across the street. And I'm going, dear God, that's okay. You're not there. Be thankful. Be thankful. There's always something to be thankful for. There's always somebody who has it worse. Always things to be thankful for. Concentrate on that because it'll get your spirits up. Second of all, think about what kind of life you want. Because what you focus on grows. You're going to attract it to you. These guys want to get caught. They've attracted us to them. And they get caught every day, like never before in their lives. If they didn't want to get caught, some offenders are so disgusted with themselves and they can't stop. They're very disgusted with themselves. They know what they're doing is bad. It's nasty. It's gross. It's very offensive. They know that. They just can't stop. And so they'll attract somebody into their life that will do it for them. And so here we are. And we know Mr. Perry has Huntington's disease. We know Mr. Perry traffics women. We know he's got a sex exploitation business. Right? We know Muffin Man. Your guy nickname. Who's Monique? Who's Beth? Mary Beth. Sometimes goes by Beth. Dumped at a lake just outside Billings. Right? Who's that? All these things you had all your life, all of a sudden it's not hidden now. When you did it to me. And you can't seem to stop yourself. You can't, I don't want to hear from you. I don't know how many different ways I can say the same fucking thing. I don't care what you think. And don't fucking ask for help. Yeah, you got a lot of nerve. Don't contact me. I fucking hate it. I don't want to hear what you think. Everybody's sick of hearing what the offenders think. They want to know what the victims think about what they're going through. How do you feel? Is there something we could, Okay, so girls that want to get out of trafficking first, the battle's in your head. The traffickers know that. That's why they tear you down. You don't have any money, Tiffany, unless I send my guys in there with money. They're going to throw it on stage. It's for XYZ drug I sold them earlier. Or you're going to suck his dick tonight late when you get off work. And we're laundering that money. And if it weren't for them, you wouldn't have any work. You wouldn't have any money. You wouldn't have any business. So don't complain about the little clunker we let you have. Right? None of that's true. That's a lie. When they're gone, people are going to come in there and they're going to put money on the stage and they're going to buy a lap dance from you, and it's your money. And you don't give it to anybody, and you don't have to suck anybody's dick you don't want to. And excuse me again for the vulgarity, but that's what trafficking is. That's what sex crimes is. That's what prostitution is. That's what pandering is. That's what drug trafficking is. And that's what these guys are doing. And Mr. Perry's right in the middle of it. Church boy. Church deacon. Back at home in Lubbock, he's a church deacon. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, he's got a whole different life. He's got a pretend love life with a woman who can't stand him, won't talk to him. 11 times you had to buy your way out of a protective order. Right? When I filed that lawsuit in the civil case in the state, in that lawsuit I requested a protective order in 14, and I put the fucking police report in there. In 14 days there has to be a hearing by law. There was no hearing. So here we go again, no hearing. There's either one scheduled or prescribed by law, and there's nothing. Like 4 times. That one, the default judgment, Mike's case, and my landlord. 4. We spot a pattern the second time you do it, Mr. Perry. We're not stupid. Or you are. You bother me, you get caught. You bother me, you get caught. You bother me. For 9 years. Can't spot a pattern after 9 years? Mike McNamara email was the first, but not it was the first you know of, but not the first. Okay? So these girls are told, you're not going to have that kind of life. Yeah, you are. It's up to you. You control that. You set your mind to it. You concentrate on what you're thankful for, and always focus on the next step in the process. But you gotta focus on it. So every morning when you get up, think about what you're thankful while you're getting ready. You know, you make your breakfast or whatever. Mr. Perry, do not contact me. I don't want to hear it. Don't care what you think, did I? Did I ask you what you think? Were you asked, Connie? Okay, get out of my phone. People want to know how I feel about being hacked and watched in the privacy of my home. Not how you feel at all. Everybody's scared how you feel and what you think. So please, do not contact me again. We will get more. Okay, so when I do that, when I stop everything and do that, sometimes he'll stop, sometimes not. It's worth a shot. So, he types in my other phone. Mr. Perry, I don't want to hear what you think. Please stop. So what happens is, these girls can have a good life. They do deserve good things. They do deserve to have a good life. It doesn't matter what mom and dad fucked up. They have that opportunity. You've got a fresh canvas, paint it to be whatever you want. And don't let these guys stop you. Focus on the next step of the process. Now, all these girls know that there are organizations that have shelters they can go to. If they want to inform to the cops, they can. And I wouldn't trust TPD. I would go to Oklahoma City. Because these guys aren't just in Oklahoma City. They go back and forth. Oklahoma City's getting it done right. You see on the news all the time. You never see Tulsa police arrested traffickers, do you? You constantly see Oklahoma City police arrested traffickers. These are the lower level guys, because the higher level guys are Lucius Calvin, David Robertson, Joe Chadwick, Charles Perry. Those are the higher end. Those are the higher level in the state. Everybody knows that. Does everybody know that? We know that. Does Judy Parker know that? She needs to know that. If she doesn't, she better educate herself. Because the judge that signs off on your investigatory orders that just told our guys, get their schedules to me, please. All of them. I want to see that. I want to see every single one of them scheduled. What are they doing all day with their time? Every single one of them. Does she ask for that? Nope. She's factually ignorant. So he wants to see it. He wants to see what you're doing. So you might want to go to Oklahoma City Police. And then they can put you in a shelter. And there's another alternative. You're already street smart. You already have skill. You've already learned how to manipulate things to get what you need to survive. Record them. They leave papers laying around. Get them. You can get them to me. I mean, you can get all that shit to me. Catch the bad guy. It's over. You're free. Focus on the next step in the process. They're going to have obstacles for you. Figure out how to get around them. You do it every day anyway to survive. Why not do it every day to end it? You're already doing the job. You're making things work for you to survive. Make things work for you the same way. Just pivot a little and gather evidence. And lock these bitches up so they're gone and they can't hurt you anymore. You're safe. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing. I have help. You do too. You have the same help. I can't give you their phone number and you can't call them. I got it. You got me. You want to go to Oklahoma City? Do that too. That's another choice. Watch the news. They're catching people. They're getting the traffickers. I don't see TPD doing it. I wouldn't go to them. I'd go to Oklahoma City. But there are cops catching traffickers in Oklahoma. So get the evidence, record them. When they start talking to you about, I want you to suck this guy's dick, and you know, you're gonna owe me. I'm gonna have him come in and throw money on stage, so that it's laundered money. And when you get off work, you go to XYZ place and you suck his dick. You don't have a choice. And if it weren't for me, you wouldn't have anything at all. That is bullshit. That is a load of crap. So, what they do is they run all the customers off. And so only their people go in. You need to know that. We know that. They've rented that whole club out. And only the people, I think it was that one. It was either that one or Blue Diamond. Only their guys go in. So what happens if they're not renting the club out? Regular, normal people come in and buy regular, normal lap dances, and it's all your money. So don't, for 1 minute, let them fool you into thinking the only reason you have a customer is because we send him. And you don't just give him a lap dance. You're going to have to go home with him after work and suck his dick. And let yourself be humiliated and degraded and go throw up. Or have to do drugs to cope with all that. I've not seen these girls do drugs like I have some. I mean, I've seen some girls drug themselves into oblivion, and you know why they're broke. This is different. So, anyways, you need to, try to get what you can if you want to be a spy, if you want to be super sleuth. You're already doing shit to survive that you can use the same skills to get evidence that you need to lock these people up, and they're gone. They're never gonna hurt you again. You can go to a shelter. It's whatever you're comfortable with, but you don't have to live like that. You absolutely do not have to live like that. No one does. It's a choice. We're in a free country. And they've taken everything I have, and I'm surviving it. And we're still getting evidence. That didn't stop us from getting evidence, did it? We've got more than anybody else has ever gotten. Right, Muffin Man? Right, Lucius? I have your names. Let's list them off again. Lucius, Calvin, who's bald and fat, Sanjay, the hacker, Geppetto, the witch. Geppetto's your witch. Geppetto's told you. I've heard him. She's got a lot of angels around her, and I can't get through. Here's the thing about my relationship with God. I can't even explain it. I don't go to church. I was trying to go to a Catholic church, and I'm not even really Catholic, but these people were very kind to me. And all of a sudden, when I lost my car and I went back to dancing, they won't have anything to do with me. How'd they find out I was dancing? Yeah, okay, so I'm not even gonna do that. But my relationship with God has always been kind of personal. I don't talk about it at work. I don't talk about it to people much. I talk about it to the Baptist deacons who pretend they know God and they don't know a fucking thing about God. I believe God is who he says he is, and he'll do what he says he will do. And I believe that he does things in a way that we don't always approve of, and he doesn't need our approval. If you read the book of Job, Satan comes to Job and he says, I want to sift your servant Job. And God says, okay. Job didn't make a mistake. He did say, what I have feared has come upon me, so be careful what you're afraid of. And we all have to be careful of that. So, like I said, I believe in the law of attraction because the Bible talks about it. As a man thinketh, so is he. So shall he be. What you think about, you're going to attract it to you. Like when you want to get caught, you're going to attract people that'll catch your crime. That's what you have. That's what you've done, Geppetto. Can't you do wiki and explain that to them? So, if God showed you, he let you see angels around me. You're not the only one that said that. Another friend of mine said, when I pray for Cynthia, I see her so buried, so deep in angels, you can't even hardly see her. The angel of the Lord encamps around about those who fear him and delivers them. That's it. That's God's word. That's the way it is. It's not up for debate. It's not up for questioning. You don't negotiate that with God. That's why he said, here's what it is, and that's what it is. So, believe me, I've been terrified. Something was going on. I don't remember now what it was, but I was so terrified I couldn't even fucking breathe. It was awful, and I was mad at myself for being that scared. Why am I this scared? Why am I not more in control of my emotions? That I am this terrified. And I had a dream that I've had 2 or 3 dreams of the little kid that was laughing at me, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? And he goes like, this angel behind you, he's huge. And I'm like, is he funny? Why are you laughing? He's like, he's just so big. And then I had another dream of this man, and he was a black man, and he was like kind of laughing at me the same way. And I was like, what are you laughing at, and who are you? And he goes, my name is Jaleel, and I'm laughing. Look at this. Look around you, girl. And I'm like, yeah, there's like angels everywhere. And he goes, everywhere you go, it's like that. Do you see the end of them? And I go, no. Why are you scared all the time? Look at all the angels around you. And I'm like, oh, God. Yeah? That's a lot of angels. And he goes, you're too scared, girl. You need to chill. And so the next day I actually wasn't scared at all. I woke up and I was fine. But when you have traffickers trying to kill you or false arrest you or, take everything you own and, please get her car away from her, naturally you're going to be afraid. But the thing is, when you have God with you, you don't have to be so afraid. And there's been a lot of things they tried to do. I didn't die from arsenic. I threw it up. I didn't die from the brick they had thrown at me on the freeway. I went out a different way and it missed me. It did damage my car, and so I got a new car. How many times you guys try to get my car, David? Okay, so I just believe God in a more real way, I guess. So he's telling Job. So, the whole argument in the whole book of Job is his friends are telling him, you lost everything you have in a heartbeat. Lost his home, lost his everything he owned, lost his kids, all of his kids. And his friends are telling him, you must have sinned. But that's not what the conversation between Satan and God was. And Satan always has to ask permission first. And God never gives permission unless he has a plan to bless you double. Double what was taken. You're going to get it. So there's this argument with his friends, and like, you had to have sinned for God to let that happen. And Job's like, no, I didn't sin. I promise I didn't. They're arguing back and forth. And then Job's asking God, why are you doing this to me? And you know what God tells him? Man up. God actually says that to Job. Man up. Do you control Leviathan? Do you control the wind? Who are you to question me? Who are you? Man up. Take it like a man. I created the universe. You don't get to question me. This man just lost everything he had. And God, the perfect Father, did not coddle him. Did not pat him on the back. Oh, poor thing. He didn't say anything like that. What he said is, man up. I'm going to talk to you, and you're going to handle it like a dude, like a man. Do you control Leviathan? Did you create the heavens and the earth? Do you control the wind and the waves? Do you control this? Do you hold the stars up in the sky? So why are you questioning me? I get it, you don't understand, but don't question me. And Job's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And God says, I want you to pray for your friends. So he prays for his friends. And then he blessed them double for his trouble. He got double everything he lost. And during that time, his wife tells him, curse God and die. And he wouldn't do it. He was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I trust God. I'm confused right now and I don't understand this. I don't know what's happening. And he goes back and forth from being thankful and praising God to weeping and crying and grieving, and I don't understand normal emotions. God gave us normal emotions. He knows what we feel. He knows we're going to feel frustrated and scared and upset but the answer to Job's question when he's asking God, what's happening? What are you doing? I don't get it. And my friends think I've sinned, and I haven't sinned. What's going on here? And God didn't do this to punish him. God did this to prove to Satan, I got a guy that can do that. He's going to kick your ass with his faith right now. And so he never stopped believing God, did he? He didn't curse God and die, but he's questioning, and God's like, man up. You need to take this like a man. Don't whine. That's it. Just like that. And so he was like, I'm sorry, you're right, I shouldn't have questioned you. And his ways are higher than ours. And then Joseph goes through, he's promised that his brothers who are bullying him are going to bow before him. And he's like, okay. And then his dad gives him a coat. He's like 12 years old. And he gets, now they'll do it. When I put this coat on, I'm going to go in the backyard and they'll do it. They'll bow to me. And they didn't. They sold him into slavery and ripped his coat off, and almost killed him. They're fighting about maybe we should kill him. Sometimes things don't look like we think they should look. That's the God that I know. That's the God that I believe in. That's the God that I get. I have gone through some, what kind of God lets me sit at Christmas in my car well, the God that I love, the God that is who he says he is, and he'll do what he says he will do. And I did not give up on God, not one bit. Because I sat there and I talked to God all day, and it was a better day because I did. I felt God's love in a way that day that I haven't, I can't describe it. I feel like God's a big ball of love. I feel like God's a big ball of mercy and grace. And that his will is always right, even though we don't understand it at the time. The thing is, I wasn't in the hospital fighting cancer, was I? I wasn't in the hospital wringing my hands watching my child fight cancer, was I? I was sitting in my car, chilling, watching Polar Express on my phone. I mean, it was shitty, but there was a lot to be thankful for as well. There's always something to be thankful for, always. And I'm hearing my guys pissed off, getting more intel than ever on Mr. Perry's crime. Booyah. It's going to be fine. So that's the God I believe in, is that he doesn't do things like we think he should. He does things better than we can imagine. Because at the end of the day, Joseph, his brothers did bow to him, not in the backyard where it's like all lame, in a fucking palace where he's second in command in one of the most powerful countries in the world at that time. And he saved Egypt and Israel from starvation. And there was a path he had to go through to get there. And that's the God that I know, and that's the God I understand. So that's the God I'm thankful for. And it's a very personal thing for me. I don't go around talking about it a lot. It's something that, if you ask the people that in a strip club that I've worked with, does she try to like convert you to Jesus or anything? They're going to tell you she don't even talk about it, because I don't. That's not my way. But if you act like you're a Christian and you go around pretending you love Jesus while you rape little girls, then I'm gonna get in your face with the word of God. Because don't you trample the blood of Jesus like that. You don't get to pretend that you know God and that you represent that, because you are the polar opposite of that. Polar opposite. You wicked piece of shit. You hire a witch who's going, I can try to cast spells on her to make her change her mind, but she's got too many angels around her, I can't get through. I've heard him say it to you. Because Mr. Geppetto might end up going to jail for witness tampering too, if they're recording what he's doing and he's tormenting me for you. What's the difference than if you were, tormenting is tormenting, pestering is pestering, witness tampering is witness tampering. What are you doing with that? What are you doing with that? You're trying to make me lie. At the end of the day, it's all about coercing. You're trying to force me to do and say something I don't want to. I said no. I've said no for a decade, every fucking day. I've screamed it. I've yelled it. I've screamed just like that girl, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. What part of leave me alone can you not understand, Mr. Perry? So once again, look at this. With the fucking pullovers again. Take her car away shit again. And you're caught again. And how many are there? Telling my ex-husband, you shouldn't have come. We needed her back at the club so we could carry out the nefarious bullshit plan we had there. So it's called victim and witness intimidation. Me and every girl there that works for you. We got to get them in line. We think this one might be wanting out and she might be leaking. And she has that right. You don't get to coerce her. You don't get to witness Title 18 of the United States Code 1512 and 1513. Equal protection applies here. Use allegedly, but for a standard, all of that applies here. The same disclaimer that is always, we always do, applies to everything we say. Okay? That's not going to change. What I thought for sure was on here. So, as of next week, they're going to start documenting every fucking thing you guys do in your daytime. So, you know, boring Charles is getting, well, he sat, Mr. Perry sat on his fat, lazy ass, watching Cynthia in the privacy of her home against her will, like the, sicko that he is, and caused one problem after another. Oh, here's a funny thing. Well, it wasn't really funny, but I am driving down the street, and I see this dude walking on the street, and the Tulsa police is driving by. I guess it's a lieutenant, because it's a darker navy car, those nicer navy ones. And so I guess I think I heard somewhere that those are lieutenants that are driving those nicer cars, or captains or something. Hang on, I gotta find the disclaimer, because it should have been. I understand that was put on here. Huh. There it is. Okay. There's the disclaimer. Everybody see it. Equal protection, equal protection, equal protection. To all the laws. You can't deny equal protection, right? Nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws against sex trafficking, exploiting, stalking, hacking, retaliating. Title 18, United States Code 1512, 1513. For me and all your victims, okay? We assert it here. The right to freedom of expression. We get to be pissed off about being the victims of crime, okay? Selective prosecution is illegal. So that's for me and all the victims, okay? Okay, so I'm driving down the street. There's a dude walking down the street. And here is a police officer in front. He was in front of me in a darker navy, nicer car. So I'm guessing that's a lieutenant. And he pulls, all of a sudden he pulls over and to talk to the man, does his little siren thingy and flashes his lights. The guy doesn't stop. The cop gets out of his car and he's like yelling at him, "Stop." And he just ignores him and keeps walking. And I'm just driving by. I didn't stop to watch the whole thing. And I'm like, here we go. It's going to be a thing. The guy can't just stop and do what the police officer tells him to do. He's going to make it into a problem. It's going to be a thing. Now he's got he jumps back in his patrol car and he's having to drive down, chase this guy. And I'm like, isn't that just how all the criminals are? Criminals are stupid or they wouldn't be criminals. And everything's a thing and everything's an ordeal. And what should be simple. The guy could have just stopped and told the officer whatever, answered his questions. I'm walking down the street, officer. What do you need? My driver's just cooperate. And if you like, the guy that pulls me over, and he gave me a ticket. I didn't argue with him. I set up the conversation so I can do that in court. I already had that planned. We already knew that. We already heard them talking about doing it. We already knew what they were trying to do. We planned it out. But I wasn't combative with this officer. I didn't make it into a thing. I didn't make it into a problem. I'm just cooperating with him. But I know I do have a legal right to not be going through this. The equal protection of the laws against stalking and economic abuse and domestic violence and trafficking and coercion apply to me. And I'm telling you, officer, this is a problem. And you don't care. You can't write me the ticket fast enough. Okay, fine. You do what you do. You're free in this free country to execute the law as whatever, you're told to do by the, whoever bought you today. I'm free to expose that in a court of law as I see fit. Because everybody knows these guys have been other police on them. Because we found out Mr. Perry has Huntington's disease. Right? And they want to take my car. I knew you were going to do this. So I'm going to set it up for court. Because in court, I'm going to prove that this was a part of the trafficking. It's causation, proximate cause. I even said that to him. It's not like he wasn't given full disclosure. I'm telling him, here's the deal. You heard of causation, officer? You heard of proximate causes, officer? You heard of that? Yep, let me go get your ticket. I don't care. Okay. Alright, sounds good. So we'll get another court case where we can build public record of Mr. Perry's criminal activity. If you want to do that, let's do it. So here we go. And I'm asking him the questions that I know to set it up for the questions I'm going to ask him in court. I didn't run from him. I didn't, I pulled right over and I'm doing my thing. I sting-opped him and he didn't know it. And I've even heard people compliment me, I guess. If you watch her do a sting-op, sometimes you don't know that, even you don't know that's what she's doing, listening as a third party. He didn't know. Even as a third party listening in, you don't know until she tells you what she's doing. And then you're like, oh my God, wow. Okay, so I'm really good at what I do. And, think about it. I'm growing up and my dad's a cop. My granddad's a cop. My great-granddad's a cop. So imagine the banter in our home. That's what that was. This is a conversation like I had with my dad. This is like breathing to me. So, my dad wasn't always an ass. Sometimes he's an ass, sometimes he wasn't. But my dad was an alcoholic. He quit drinking, but he never stopped being an alcoholic. My granddad loved me to death. Banter, just like I had with that cop. Here, you want to prove this? Do this, say this, do that, say that. Right? Okay, so I'm growing up in this, and I know how to do it. I know what I'm doing. I know how to I'm going to get the information that I need, and we're going to go to court, and we're going to talk about it in court. We're going to bring it out. We're going to bring it all out. Because you can't catch a bad guy if you don't. And the cop isn't the bad guy, but he's an extension of the bad guy, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we have bad cops, we have good cops. Did that cop know? I'm gonna ask him. Officer, did you know? Why were you asked to pull me over? And who asked you? Did you know what that was for? Because I've got hundreds of these emails, sir. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? Chief Miller complained about being asked to pull me over. How do you explain that how do you explain it? You answer you're gonna have to answer that. So there you go. And that's what courts are for, though. The courts are to bring justice, and sometimes, unfortunately, you have to brings out justice when you have corrupt something going on. Is this one guy, or is this a systemic thing? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't want to deal with. I only want to deal with what I have to deal with. But when you're raised by police is family. It's your family. It hurts you to have to do that. It does. It didn't hurt him, I guess, but it hurt me. It hurts me that I got to now go to court and address a corruption situation. I'm a victim of crime. I'm telling you I'm a victim of crime. You didn't do anything to look into it. You didn't ask me any questions about it. You acted like you did not give two flips at all. And that's not policing. And now we got 44% increase in murders of domestic violence, women, children with no mommy in the state of Oklahoma since 2020. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Law enforcement's responsible for keeping people safe. Murder is not keeping people safe. A 44% increase in domestic violence murder of women, not men, women, is not keeping people safe. And misogyny and hatred towards women is hideous. That's the hate crime. Unless Mr. Perry is gay, he's not, I don't know. He's going to have to tell people if he's gay or not, or if he's trans or not. I made fun of them because he's not acting like a man. Remember, God did say to Job, you need to be a man. Man up. I'm going to talk to you. Now listen to me and handle it like a dude. Okay? Don't be a coward and don't be a pussy. Deal with it like a dude would deal, like I expect you to. So, if God says it, I mean, I do quit acting, everybody gets rejected. Everybody else just moves on. Why can't you? You fail. You're a failure. I don't like you because you're creepy. You don't have a respect for boundaries. You're abusive and you're cruel. What if I told you also in the Bible, a man's kindness brings blessings? We can get information. You cannot. And his cruelty will be his downfall. People tell on you because they're sick of you being so cruel and so creepy. It isn't normal to want to peep on a woman in her house. That's why it's illegal. When you do something illegal, you're doing something people don't like. Okay? When you do things people don't like, they don't like you. These are common sense things most people don't have to be told. Even one time, you've been told over and over and over. You're not the victim. Stop acting like you're a victim because you got caught doing something gross and illegal and nasty. Stop threatening me. Stop threatening me. Go the fuck away. Get away from me. Weirdo, get away from me. Get the hell away from me, sir. So when, that's the thing with you guys. Everything's a thing. Everything, it's like that guy won't stop. For the police officer, he said stop. And I'm like, oh, brother, he's going to make a thing. He just kept going, and the officers tell him stop. And he just keeps walking, and I'm like, oh, brother, he's going to make a thing of this. And he did, and the policeman had to jump back in his car and drive down, chase this guy down, and now it's a thing, and now it's an ordeal. Why is it you criminals like to make everything's a thing, and everything's an ordeal, and a hassle for everybody else? And everybody is concerned about how the victims feel at what you've done. The catastrophic, profound, horrific loss you cause. Day after day after day after day. No one gives two fucks about how you feel or what you think about getting caught. We're all sick of hearing it. Look at your results. We can get information like that and you can't. Now, Warman, I fucking am so tired of telling you this. All I have done is repeat the same thing over and over and over and over. Your client is not to contact me or my family again, ever. Not in any way, shape, or form. Not directly or indirectly. Your guys call around. We need you to take her car away. We need you to pull her over. Hundreds of those. What courts have they already been played in? Is it one court or is it two? How many jurisdictions are involved in this? I told you there's 12 reporters. 3 are not in the United States of America. When you put a woman naked in her house on the internet and broadcast that all over the world on the dark web and charge people money, you make a profit off of her body without her consent, without compensate, with nothing. And you don't get to do that. It's sick. It's a violation of human rights. And you starve us while you rake it in. You're going to get some people's attention that you might not want to get. And you did. That's your problem. Be a man about it. No one cares how you feel that you got caught. Everyone cares about the people who have suffered a loss and an injury and a big one. You're not to contact me anymore. And every time you do, we get more. Because you were told don't contact her again. Don't invade her privacy again. She's not to be broke anymore. Don't cause problems so she can't go to work. Don't do it. So when we quote you and when we find out again, and then you got Judy calling Chief Franklin, who in your department is leaking? Judy, there's something to leak. Did that occur to you? That there's something to leak? And maybe you ought to be not factually ignorant. So now, maybe you should ask the same question the judge who's granting the investigatory orders, that might be a wiretap order or some such. Maybe you ask the same question he is. I want to know Lucius's schedule every day, all day long. What's he doing? I want to know Calvin's. I want to know the witch, Geppetto's. I want to know Charles Perry's. I want to know, David Robertson's. I want to know how they're spending their time every day, all day. We're going through the list again. Mr. Perry has Huntington's disease. I found out, because when he contacts me, we find out more. We found out he was trying to allege a hate crime because he contacts me and he was told to stop. The hate is, you hate women. You're a misogynist pig. You get caught when you do the crime to me. I don't want to hear how you feel. I don't care. I moved twice not to have to hear how you feel or what you think. I don't like you. You're rejected. Move on. You're a failure. You can't just go be normal and keep up with everybody else. It's embarrassing. You can't understand what the fuck people are saying to you, can you? Okay, so you're not to contact me, you're not to invade my privacy, and I'm not to be broke anymore. Period. Look how much more we got since the first time he said that. And you can't understand a fucking thing people say to you. And you failed. Okay, so we got Geppetto, we got Calvin, we got Lucius, we got Blankenship, Desiree, Beverly, Kate, James, Ruben, Richard, Dickie, Andrew, Jeremy, Brian, there's another one. I know I'm forgetting another one. Lawrence, right? Who's Monique? We got Mary Beth, dumped at a lake just outside Billings. Right? Dead? You killed her? Did you kill her? Did you do that? She didn't like your sex weirdo problem and you killed her? Who's Monique? Who's Muffin Man? Explain to the court, what's Hansel and Gretel? What's Rapunzel? Did Rapunzel let down her hair? What that means is, did this girl agree to be coerced? And I'm like, shit, you can take my car, you can throw me in jail. What did I say last time you threw me in jail? Fuck you. It's Hunger Games. It's Katniss. It's Mulan. When you do it to me. It's different. So you guys don't manage your expectations properly. I never do what you think. And you say that. And we've heard you saying it. She never does what we think she's going to do. Ask Dickie. I think Dickie's the one that gets me, and he's telling you she's not going to do that. Right? You tell Fabian. I told you Fabian's not going to help you. Did he help you? Did he coax me back to Texas where I could be murdered, and he knows that? And he knows that I know you're going to use him to do that to me? And so he said no. And then you tell him, go up to Tulsa and reject her. Okay, I'll do that. You know why? He gets to see me. He knows I already know. That's not coming from him. That's coming from you. We're not born yesterday. Do we both have stupid written across our forehead? You don't know us at all. You don't know me. You don't know him. Or you would have seen that coming, and you didn't. You can't put two and two together to save your life. Why didn't you get off your fat, lazy ass and go run for governor? You know what that means? You go shake hands, you go kiss babies, go do a Habitat for Humanity event, and go put a bunch of charitable events and make sure it's on the news. And then everybody will think you're such a good person. Instead of coming up here and committing one crime after another, and we find out. And then we get more, and we get more, and then we get more, and you killed the cop. I found out you drugged Mike Neely. And I found out Gene Mitchell was going to bullshit. And he did. And he goes, how'd she find out I was going to bullshit? I know she knew because she texted me. Said, don't bullshit. And how'd she know? You know what, though? He had a chance to ask me that in the deposition, and he didn't. He didn't ask me, how'd you know my client was drugged before anybody else said it? How'd you know I was going to bullshit? We haven't been to court yet. And you're texting me telling me don't bullshit. Wait, you're going into court to argue your client is innocent because... And then you've given this bullshit story. Doesn't even make sense. How did she know I was going to do that? Didn't ask me, though, in the depot. Had a perfect opportunity and he didn't do it. Why? Why is that? Okay, so, you remember who it is you're talking to, Perry? Remember who it is you're talking to. People don't care what you think. It doesn't make sense. What we told you to do is go fucking be normal. Get off me, rapist, and go fucking be normal. When you do the crime to me, you get caught. You don't know who I am. You don't know who I know. You don't know a fucking thing about me. You have a pretend person in your mind that isn't even real. You have a pretend life in your head. It's not real. There's nothing real about it, any of it. And you look like a fool. And everybody is tired of you imposing that on us and burdening us and bothering us with it. It's, shut up and leave me alone. It's inappropriate for you to contact me at all or my family. All this stuff that we got. Look at that. It's embarrassing. All the stuff that we get. Look at that. A false arrest and my death, a murder, okay. That isn't going to make Mr. Perry look innocent of stalking. It's going to prove he is. Yep. Stalkers kill their victims many a time. Jodi Arias killed Travis Alexander. John Hinckley tried to kill President Reagan. John Lennon had it. Rebecca Schaefer, Teresa Saldana, Drew Carey's ex-fiancée. There's a list of people killed or almost killed by their stalker. You're whack job if you stalk. Everybody else just moves on. Why can't you?
Leave me alone! Please!
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
Alright, so it's disgusting to normal people. That's why it's illegal. People don't like it when you do that. You do things people don't like, they're not going to like you. At your age, you shouldn't have to be told that, Mr. Perry. Alright, to everybody else, if you're a good cop, thank you for being a good cop. And if you're a victim, you can do this. You've got this. Get as much evidence as you can. Use your skills that you're using to survive to get as much evidence as you can to end it. And stay sexy and don't get murdered.